Hey guys, okay, so I have a topic and I wanted to focus on church members. Okay, um, you did read the title correctly. Okay, some church members get really upset with me when they invite me to attend their services and I don't go. Some church services I actually do go to because I really like the way they came about doing more missionary things, which God and did intend some people to do, if not all, missionary work. But I came across two individuals who invited me to the church services, and I told you this before, but I ended up going to the church services, and I think I came once, and then after that, I did not come back. It wasn't anything about the church. It was just because I did not feel the need to. I mean, that's not enough information, but I have to be completely honest with you. I did not go back to the church um, because, in general, I already don't need a spiritual teacher because I am the spiritual teacher within myself. This is not saying that I don't know, it's not saying that I don't need guidance and I don't need help from anyone. I don't need spiritual information. I don't need that, because we all need some type of advice from someone. But I absolutely continued to stop going to just anyone's church because of that reason. Um, Church is designed to get you to start developing stronger faith and having a better insight about life's journey, I guess. I mean, it's giving you more of an insight about um, biblical knowledge, and not only that, it's helping you see who you are as a person. And unfortunately, the people that were um, here many years before you, I'm pretty sure it's helping you gain knowledge in that as well. Believe it or not, biblical stories have been mentioned in history textbooks, and they're more similar stories that reflect back to biblical stories as well. But honestly, I just want some church members to know, and people who are not really a church member, for people who just tuned in to watch this video, I want you guys to understand that when your life is kind of off balance and you need some structure or some obedience, and it's kind of disruptive in a way, you may want to consider going to church to get a better insight on how you can actually carry yourself or make some of the right choices, if you don't already have that demonstrated around you. I'm pretty sure if you didn't have it, if you had a demonstration of how to treat other people and how to treat yourself, if you had that type of people around you, which would be your environment, then you probably wouldn't really be too um I'm gonna say you wouldn't really be too excited about going to church to know how to treat other people and how to treat yourself, because that comes naturally. And the people that you are around, which is considered to be your environment, they are going to be your influences. Okay, you can influence yourself, of course, if you're mature enough. But even kids have the godlike mentality and the personality. Like they have that good like spirit about them that adults or people in their teenage years tend to branch away from. Now, some children do have the disobedience and the disguidance because they are considered kids. They're still learning, they're not fully mature yet. However, it's how you were brought up, who you were raised with. If they acted a certain way that wasn't really um, like genuinely accepted in a good way from the people that they interact with or they ended up being encountering with, then you might need to change that way of thought or how you carry yourself or your daily lifestyle needs to change. But some people don't have to go through the the stages of having difficulties such as um, having respect, showing respect, or receiving respect from other individuals. Um, some people get respect even though they're not really giving it because they just end up being around people who are trying to teach them a lesson. But at the end of the day, um, church is literally designed to get you on the right track, just as if you were to get on the right track from a parent at home. Um, some people don't need to go to church because their lifestyle every day they demonstrate what the Bible wants them to do just naturally, regardless, without going to church and have to have someone tell them to treat this person the way you would want to be treated, to save your money the right way, do not overspend it, do things in moderation, okay, and things like that. Some people don't. It's not a bad thing if you do go to church because I really think church is a great place to go and worship. And I've grown up in the church, so I actually know about this. Even when I was actually inside of my mother's house, and my grandmother was the type of person that kept us in the church, but my mother basically did not keep us in the church. But I was still able to branch away and still go to church when I was little by myself because by the time I was in elementary and middle school, I still interacted with God-like people who had good personality about themselves. They seen that in me as well, so they invited me to church with them, and then I started interacting with the church like that. Even though the people in my family wasn't going, they just seen the difference. So my thing is, like, if my mother would have went to church more often, then her lifestyle would have been changing as well. Um, but church would be more for people like her, or for about people who don't really know how to act accordingly and respectfully 100% of the time, um, treating other people the way you want to be treated the right way. Some people need to go to church to just really hear people preach something positive to them because they're not going to do that naturally just without being in church. So not saying that if you're a natural God gift type spirited person without going to church that you don't need to be in church also or that you don't have to. If you want to be there, you can. But some people have literally outgrown church and they should be more specifically focusing on missionary work, like out there going out to do things to help people um, raise money for funds, doing church, fundraisers and things like that, to get them interactive so they won't be so drained and tired and bored over the same text over and over again. Like get their minds stimulated and get their mind to be more active so they can feel more uplifting. Because some people can outgrow church and know so much about the Bible. Now they're just waiting for you to act like you are actually reading the Bible, understanding the Bible. Like some people can demonstrate church the way they act in the every day of their life. And then they go to church and they get the text and they do the same routine over and over again. And the next thing you know, they end up fading off from church and they're really a good person at heart, but they just got bored and they end up going to do something else that they didn't even see themselves doing. And that's because of the missionary. You can spend more time keeping good spirited people if you use your time wisely by having missionary field trips, raising money, doing a church yard sale or church car wash, and then take the person that's been coming to church who's a good spirited person on a trip like to Carowinds or to the beach or something. But there's more to life than to just sit there and just read the text in the Bible and understand it, and you already know that that's how you're supposed to treat other people regardless. So why not give that person a special gift and say, hey, we're raising money for a project, and we're going to take you guys on a trip because you guys worked hard and you deserve it. That'll keep your good spirited person in a church. You see, and there's a lot of churches that are closed, and a lot of people drive past churches and you see one church, one car in the parking lot, and this huge church, and like, why isn't anybody going to the church? Well, because they're not getting involved with the community. Well, some of them are getting involved with the community, and then some of them just really don't do as much, community work. You get a lot of people that will start to attend a church if they actually open up their doors and have like a community events, like a yard sale, to raise money for the church, or to raise money for the church to do things within or do things on the outside. There are different ways to get your community involved with your church. There shouldn't be a reason why there should be like 50 churches in your neighborhood and nobody goes to neither one of them. So that's not the only reason why I don't attend certain church services. Like, I've been to this nice church in Chapel Hill called Love Chapel Hill, and I had no intentions of going to church this day, but it was a Sunday and I was headed off to the library, and I was walking with a friend of mine. We were going down Franklin Street, and we passed a movie theater, but this church called Love Chapel Hill was actually having their services every Sunday inside of a movie theater. And it was pretty cool because on the outside they had coffee and hot chocolate and refreshments on the outside. And when I stepped inside, because they invited us in, there were like donated clothing materials and other fun stuff, for like food and things that people in the community can actually take home. And it was so cool because I was like, wow, they're really actually doing missionary things. They're actually showing who God is rather than just sitting there preaching and talking to them. They're they're demonstrating to you what God wants you to do. And so that what made me feel more welcomed and comfortable, instead of someone to say, would you like to come to church with me? I'm like, yeah, but I have other things that I have to do, but they have literally used ways to draw me into that church. And then I got the sermon and was able to understand. I said, well, I appreciate you guys for doing what you're doing. And then that's when the pastor and the other members would say, well, we want to demonstrate and do exactly what God wants us to do. We are going to show you love instead of telling you love. So that really, really done a number, and I really, really like that. So yes, people do get upset whenever I don't attend a church service, and this is not a color thing, but I don't never see someone who isn't black. I've seen other races like white. They have literally invited me to their church without saying, would you like to come to my church? They had literally brought the church to me. That is the way to go. And then you get some African Americans who will invite you to the church and then ask you over and over again to, and even though you gave me the same answer, no, no, I got something to do, they're still like force. It's kind of like they're like not forcing, but it's a little bit forceful in a way. Um, but not all African American churches, not all of them. Some of them are Christ-like, just as rest is Christ-like as wants you to be. So it's not a color thing; it's a spiritual thing, like I said before. Um, and that's pretty much it. Um, I, I say thank you whenever I cannot go to the church or I chose not to go, but just know that I'm spiritual enough within me, and I am my own teacher, and I've learned all that I could learn about the Bible, about spirituality that I could ever learn. And now I'm just waiting for you to show me the same amount, and then I would give in and be invited and actually attend your services.